Welcome to another Reverend Sam in the Church of the Spinning Wheel. As my lift slowly starts to fall. On this episode, we are going to start converting my old softail back to a hand shift and a foot clutch. The reason that I'm doing this is that I'm bored, basically. Originally, the plan was to give the softail to Logan, and then the more we thought about that, the worse that idea got. We really think that he should start off on a Sportster. So for right now, the softail's basically been in limbo. I kind of threw it back together for my brother to ride while he was here on vacation, and it's just sitting. I'm not riding it because it's not as much fun to ride as my Dyna. You know, my Dyna corners well, it goes fast, it stops fast, so it's a lot more fun to ride than a 2009 Softail Custom. But I mean, this bike doesn't corner well. It's fast as shit. I mean, it'll take off the line better than my Dyna does. But it's a straight line bike, and most of the time I really prefer to be hitting corners as hard as I can, which is why I have the Dyna. So in an effort to start riding this thing again, I'm gonna reinstall the foot clutch and the hand shift just to make it fun again. Of course, as always, this bike it's pretty much for sale. If anybody's looking for a Softail Custom 2009 fuel injected with about 50,000 miles on it, $5,000. If you got $5,000 and no bullshit, no, I'm not gonna drive it 200 miles to your dealership to have them look it over. I'm not gonna do any of that. If you want, I've got a clean title on it. If you want it, and you hand me $5,000 cash, you can have this 2009 Softail. And that's it. There's no negotiating. I don't care that your grandma's sick or whatever, because I don't need to sell it. It wouldn't bother me if I kept it forever. My wife, on the other hand, would definitely prefer that I sold it and used it towards making the Sportster happen for Logan, or paying down some bills, or all the other domestic stuff that I tend to ignore and don't really pay that much attention to here at the house. But anyway, if somebody's out there and they want it, if you got $5,000, it's yours. If not, don't bother me. Don't. $4,900. Nope. $5,000. Hand me $5,000. It's yours. If not, do not bother contacting me at all. Anyway, basically what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to drain all the oil out of the transmission. We're going to have to take the pipes off the engine so that we can get to the transmission actuating clutch cable actuation system, the ball ramp and all that good stuff on the other side of the motorcycle. Install the cable and put all that back together, put the pipes back on it, reinstall the actual shifting lever, which is right here, the actual lever that shifts the motorcycle. Install the foot clutch mechanism. All this stuff has to go. This part is actually, I bought all of this when I originally did it, then had to cut it up and modify it, because this is a 2009 Softail Custom, and nobody makes the parts for this exact motorcycle. So this is for a Softail Standard, and the foot controls and everything on a Softail Standard are slightly different than on a Softail Custom. So we'll reinstall all of this. I'll show you what I had to do to mod. I had to do some cutting and fitting and welding to make it all work. And we'll turn this thing back into a suicide shifting fear machine once again. Alright, so while the transmission is draining, and since this bike was cold and that's 80-90 weight, that's gonna it's going to take a few minutes to drain, we will start on our pipes. So release the bracket. Well, I want to bolt on the bracket. Let's get them both. Do I need both of them? Maybe not. Take this pipe off first, and then we'll see if I need to remove both pipes to get at this cover. And all these exhaust manifold studs on these Harleys are it's all a 1/2 inch knot, thankfully. Okay. I might be able to release that without pulling this pipe. As you can see, this snap ring, this is a ball and a ramp mechanism. You'll be able to see how that works here in a minute. But it's what makes the clutch easy to pull. Ah, gotcha. I got 3 ball bearings in here. All right. And we're going to need to keep those. Now, this can come out. All right. So the easy way I found to do this last time was just break it loose, and then, oh, there goes the other end of my ball and ramp mechanism, and just spin the cover instead of trying to spin the cable, because that cable tends to turn into a big ass whip. Alright, now our cover's off, and it's ready for the new cable to be threaded through. First, I'm going to have to remove the old cable and the hand controls and all that good stuff, the clutch cable, but first I'm going to have to take my dog for a walk with my wife, so I'm going to take a little break and be back soon. Back from walking the dog, and I disconnected off camera. I pulled my hand controls and the clutch line out because it was 2 screws and I didn't feel like moving the camera because we still need to work right here for right now. What I'm going to do is we're going to route our, I don't remember how I did this before, but I believe something like this. Oh, it might have been on the outside, because I know I need a big ass loop. Okay, so let's get over here. We need to route our clutch cable. So let's thread our cover back on. So the next thing we got to do is reassemble our ball and ramp assembly. The inside of the ball and the ramp has a little tab on it. That sits right in there. Make sure it's nice and seated up right. Set our balls in the corresponding grooves. Make whatever ball joke you like. And now we got to take this that hooks to our little tab here. So now that is locked together, and we spin it this way, get our balls back in order, we set them in there, holding everything together. Now for the pain in the ass part, we got to get this snap ring back in this groove. I can't really tilt it too much now or I'll lose my balls, but this snap ring is what holds this ball and ramp mechanism together. So I like to get these out away from this tab. So as you can see, ball and ramp mechanism is in now. all we got to do is clean these surfaces, reinstall our cover. Now, I'm not replacing this gasket because there was nothing wrong with it. There's no tears in it. It wasn't mushroomed out. And it's really not that old. I'm not going to run these in with the impact because they're only supposed to have like 13 inch-pounds of torque on them. Something really, really small like that. And that battery operated impact will sink them to the point where either they strip or you'll never fucking get them out again. Okay, I did this one. Now I'm going to do the exact opposite. Anytime you're torquing something down, which I always do it in a crisscross pattern to keep the stress even all the way across the cover so that it doesn't crack or cause sealing issues. I mean, that's how you should do lug nuts. That's how you should do pretty much anything that's got any bolts all the way around like that. The clutch cable is hooked up. Now we're going to put our exhaust back on. I'm just going to get these, just get a couple threads on them, you know, kind of hand snugged up a little bit, but leave enough room to move so that we can hook this part up and get it going. Just enough to hold it there. Now we can tighten up the exhaust at the head. You want these pretty tight, but you don't want to break them off because then it's a real fucking problem. But you don't want them to leak. Of course, after you drive it for an hour or two, have a 1/2 inch wrench with you and just kind of torque them right back down after you kind of heat cycle it. So, let's just tighten it up. All right, that's all of it for this side. So I'm going to take a quick break and then we're going to move to the other side.